How's everybody doing today? My name is Colby. This is my channel. This is 5 This is for amputees by an amputee. Let me get a quick disclaimer out of the way real quick because we're going to be talking about phantom pains and microdosing, but I just want to say that these are my experiences. This is not your experience, and what works for me might not work for you. I hope it does, and if you try anything I tell you in these videos, just everybody be safe and smart out there, and we're all smart enough to do these things safely. All right, with that being said, let's get to the video. All right, today we're talking about phantom pains, and phantom pains is something I get asked by other amputees more than anything. Everybody, what do you do about phantom pains? And, well, you know, all this. Well, I've tried Neurontin, I've tried several other medicines, and nothing ever, like, completely cured it for me, except psilocybin. And when it comes to psilocybin, there's 3 ways you can take it. Like generally, one way is just a casual user. You just take either a big dose or a little dose. You don't even measure it out. You just take some here or there, maybe to go to a concert, maybe at night to party, whatever. As I qualify that as just general use. Then there's a macro dose. That's a weighed out amount that is a psychoactive weight. It's enough to have a psychoactive effect, but you're weighing it out and measuring it so you know how much it is and how it affects you. And then there's a microdose. That's a sub-psychoactive dose. That's a dose that's small enough that you're not going to get the visuals or anything like that, but you get all the other good effects of it. Now, you hear some people brag about microdosing, and you hear some people brag about macrodosing, but to me, it's like love and marriage. You could not have one without the other. For me, you have to, like, once again, this is just my experiences, but I promise you it works. You wouldn't just microdose, or you wouldn't just macrodose. I like to do, on the microdose side, I like to do 2 days on, 1 day off. 2 days on, 1 day off. What that means is you take a microdose one morning, then the next morning you wake up, you take it again. Then the 3rd day, you don't take it. You're letting your tolerance build back up. Then the 4th day, you take it. The 5th day, you take it. The 6th day, you don't. And you go on like that. Well, then, every 10 days or every 2 weeks or every month, whatever you decide, you throw a macro dose in there. And what the macro dose is for, I started off microdosing, and I didn't macrodose. But what that does is that you don't really realize why you're microdosing if you only microdose. I know that don't make sense, but it's the truth. If you ever macrodose, I'm talking about a 5 gram or over dose. What they call that is a heroic dose. And it's the hero's journey. If you go on the journey with psilocybin, what you're trying to do is you're trying to dissolve your ego. And why that's so important for phantom pains and for mental health and all that is because, like me, I played baseball and stuff like that when I was younger, but when I lost my legs at 17, I really, really had a hard time accepting me the way I was now, if that makes sense. Like, my ego just wouldn't let me be comfortable in my own skin. You know, I felt like everybody looked at me the way I looked at me. I felt like girls looked at me that way, and I was uncomfortable in my own skin, and there wasn't, and that made everything else more uncomfortable. That made my phantom pains worse. That made the little bit of pain I have worse. Everybody knows, like, say if you're depressed or something, and then you get a common cold, don't be depressed and have a cold. You know, that's going to be terrible on you. Well, that's kind of how it is when you ain't comfortable in your own skin and you're having other issues that come along with being an amputee. It's like you can't hardly deal with them. So a buddy of mine turned me on to a macro dose, and it just smashed my ego all to H-E-double-L and back. Like, it really just connected me with God and the universe and with everybody. Like, that's what even made me want to start doing this YouTube channel. It just made me love everybody, and it made me love myself so much. It made me feel so connected to everybody and want to give back and want to try to be helpful, and it made me feel useful. I ever sit down and wrote a list of things. I was like, what can I do? You know, I've lost my legs. What am I good at? And then I realized when I started thinking about it, I was like, man, I've been an amputee for 20 years. I've got a lot of good advice I could give somebody who maybe don't got all them years of, you know, of being an amputee who maybe could use some help, and that's why I'm trying to pass this information on. So anyway, we're back to the macro dose. So you take a big old macro dose and it will smash your ego all to hell and back, and you'll feel connected, you know. Well, then after that, it wouldn't be a good idea to macro dose every day, you know, or every other day or anything. I mean, I'm sure it's it's not unhealthy, but just nobody wants to be messed up all the time. So you use the micro doses in between that, along with meditation, to maintain the effects of the macro dose, you know. So if you do a macro dose, some people can get away with only macro dosing once a year, twice a year, you know, and some people do it once a month, you know. Some people do it as much as once every 10 days, you know. All right, the next point I want to make now, you can do your own research about macrodosing or microdosing and find out. I'm just putting the idea out there for you. However, I do want to say that if y'all start putting in the comments and start asking questions and make it clear to me that y'all want me to show you how to macrodose or show you how to microdose, I will. I'll be glad to make a video about it, which is what I will start. The next subject I want to talk to you about is what also comes along with getting a macro and micro dose is unless you live somewhere where you can source psilocybin, like here in Mississippi, it's hard to find. So I had to start growing it. And let me tell y'all, friends, when I tell you that growing magic mushrooms is one of the most rewarding hobbies that I've ever had in my life, because you don't know how good it feels to, like, when you've had everything taken away from you in an accident, and I'm sure most of y'all do because this is an amputee channel, so I'm sure most of y'all know how that feels. But then, you know how bad that feels to have all your power and control taken from you. But then imagine how good it feels to take some of that power and control back by growing your own medicine and then taking control of your own mental and spiritual and medical preferences, you know, being able to grow your own medicine that you raised at your house with. I mean, the whole hobby, just everything about it is so beautiful. It's so spiritual. And when I tell you that I've been on 6-7 different kind of antidepressants, I've tried yoga, exercise, and I'll still say exercise and stretching is a very handy, you know, that goes along with all this, but none of it singly by themselves was as effective as much to my mental health as once I introduced psilocybin to my regimen. And maybe it ain't for everybody, but if you hadn't tried it, then don't knock it, because I'm telling you, if you think about magic mushrooms like a drug, then you're thinking about it wrong. It's nature's medicine, and it was put here for us. And if you ever try it, you'll see what I mean. All right, everybody. Like I said, if y'all have any questions, or even if you wanted me to show you how to grow magic mushrooms, just put some comments in the comment section and let me know that you're interested in that, and I'll be glad. I could probably make 5 or 6 videos and show you how to do it. It's super simple, super easy, and extremely cheap to get into. The only thing you really need on the equipment side is a pressure cooker. You know, I mean, that's the only expensive thing. A pressure cooker is about $100. But anyway, and yes, much love, everybody. Much love. Any questions or comments, ask them. And please give me a like and a sub. Oh, by the way, one more thing. I'm doing a drawing and a giveaway. Once I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm giving away this wheelchair I'm sitting in. Check this bad boy out. This is a either $2,200 or $2,700 tie light. White, is brand new, ain't nothing wrong with it. This is a bad boy right here, just to be given away. And I'm going to do a live raffle. All you got to do to be in the raffle is sub to the channel and then do a thumbs up in the comments, or just write done. Either one, and once I get to 1,000 subs, I'm going to do a live raffle. All right, much love, everybody. I thank you for spending some time with me.